Hello, race fans. Welcome to Mossport in Bowmansville, Ontario, Canada for the Logitech Canadian Grand Prix Race 3 of Season 2 of the Clean Coal Endurance Series. I'm not joined by any special guests today to commentate. Kind of thought it'd be nice to just kind of whatever, but the remainder of the season will have a guest speaking commentator in it, but today it is just me and you and the field of 16 drivers. So what we've got today is we've got an 8-lap race. It's the first race of the season that's going by laps instead of time. And as you can see, it's a little bit biased toward the Porsches who are on the front row. We'll run through our starting lineup for you. Chris Aurelio is the pole sitter, and starting in second is his teammate David Land. Starting on the third position is Mr. Cuppy 3. Starting fourth is Kyler Boggs. Starting fifth place, Weston the Badass Miller, and rounding out the prototypes is Graham Riley. Now looking at your GT field, Kyle Thomas is the pole sitter in the Aston Martin. Eddie Jones on his outside. Last time's winner, Dominic Farnbacher, starts third, and up beside him, Dirk Muller. Both those cars have yet to be taken by people, and we're slowing up. Something's gone wrong. We got Matt Faust, then Patrick Long, Richard Lights, Ian Perez, Brian LaFleur Jr., who is the points leader in GT. Kenneth Bueno rounds out your field. Gonna jump up front. We're gonna cut out because we had a DTM race at Montreal, and we're going really slow now too, so that's not good. Montreal! As stated previously, the race of DTM was at Montreal rather than Mossport. There was a discussion whether Clean Coal was to race here or Mossport, and the vote went to Mossport instead of Montreal, but the DTM cars came here anyway. As you see, Pichu London had the pole and led through the first few turns. David Coulthard, Christian Vitoris behind him, and the field rolled through for their 5-lap event. As you can see, they spread out fairly well coming into the first of many chicanes on this Montreal circuit. As they head off into the distance now, you can see that there was a group in the front and a group in the back. As they came through another later section, you see here cars getting two bicycling. Tyler Williams and Reinadel 3016 were unable to make the chicane, but nevertheless not the worst of the problems. As you see, the final chicane and the Wall of Champions here, cars getting all the way up on two wheels. Christian Vitoris got a spin, and Mike Rockenfeller managed to hit the wall, and Jamie Green, which was not good. Tyler Williams just barely didn't make contact with the Wall of Champions. Later on, look at that. I think that's Vitoris, just airborne. Rockenfeller, you can see he didn't have an end. This is lap 2 coming to the Wall of Champions, and you see 3 cars get upside down coming in. Vitoris, Tyler Williams, and Reinadel 3016. Vitoris is just not having a good day. And Tyler Williams, how about this? As soon as he gets on all 4 wheels, he tries to turn around, and instead he slams right into the wall, loses that front wheel, and he is done for the day. Here is a lap later. David Coulthard came in upside down. He hit the wall. He's lucky he's not dead. Reinadel 3016 tapped the wall a good bit too. As now we skip ahead to the final time in here, Pichu London staring down the win and just clips it a little too hard, goes flipping up into the wall, and his teammate Sato Donahue comes by him to finish the win out. Matt Faust almost getting into him, as well as Kenneth Bueno. The 3 of them almost made contact and were lucky not to. As it comes to the checkered, Sato Donahue will win for the second straight race for Land Speed Racing, as he just came off of his teammate's mishap. That is the final order, and now we cut back to Mossport. So the Green Waves, we've had a little bit of a mishap getting a rolling start going, so they've reverted to standing start because of some issues with that. We're not really worried about that anymore because we're racing now. Chris Aurelio leads. Those Porsches are fast. They've been fast since the start of the season. If it hadn't been for pit strategy at Daytona, it probably would have been a Porsche there. And last time David Land took the victory with Chris Aurelio in second. Right now, Chris Aurelio leads his teammate David Land, who is I think the points leader, but I'm not really 100% sure on that one. In prototype, that is. Referring to the 6 cars of prototype. So here, let's look at the flyby of the field. You can see that the Toyota's rounding out the rear of that field of prototypes. Eddie Jones has a pretty good lead over the remaining GT field. Saw the Corvettes sitting at the back. That's not a good thing for them, as Brian LaFleur Jr. is the points leader. But we've got the first lap coming in to be completed. Chris Aurelio as the leader. And there you have it. So, wondering about pit strategy is whether or not 8 laps is a short enough distance that the cars can make it or not. It'll be interesting to see. And it might induce some interesting strategy, which hopefully it either gets it all clean or we don't see any at all. Because a lot of people don't like pit strategy races, but it does add a dynamic to it that, you know, you could be running in 6th place and everybody in front of you has to pit and you don't. All of a sudden you're winning the race. Enough about that. Let's talk about these race cars. We'll go back to the Corvettes to talk about Brian LaFleur Jr. He's had a solid performance. He's gotten twice in the last 2 races. Second in the last 2 races. Jeez Christ. And now he's running second to last, right behind Ian Perez in that Falcon car. Why don't we jump to the wrong direction? There is Eddie Jones leading the way in GT. Dirk Muller in second, Kyle Thomas in third. Now, Dirk Muller, that car, you could still sign up for that car if you wanted to, and you would assume the points of the remaining races of the season. Same goes for the Dominic Farnbacher car and the 2 factory Porsches. If they don't get signed up for, I'm assuming by race 5 I'll probably cut them from the series and it'll just be the remaining field, but yeah, that's how that's going to go. So Eddie Jones leading in the Viper. Last time was a Viper, this time might be a Viper too, but Dirk Muller in the BMW, he's going to try to fix that. This is the 9th race ever in the Clean Coal Endurance Series, and 6 of the races have been won by BMWs, as Dirk Muller now takes the lead in GT. He could make it 7 out of 9. It's been 6 out of 8 so far. It might be 7 out of 9 by the end of today. Let's look up front. Your leader is David Land. He has passed his teammate, and he has a pretty decent lead, as you see him coming into turn 1. A lot of carousel-type corners at Mosport here. It induces some high G fast turns, which is good for these prototypes because they're suited to do that, but the GTs are not as well suited to that. So it is separating the GTs and prototypes pretty well. I'm thinking we should listen to some sounds of race cars. That would be nice, wouldn't it? But we don't have anywhere to do that. I literally waited that whole lap just for this part. In dead silence. I think the GT should be coming up soon, so we can hear. The GTs are a little bit better sounding cars, because they actually sound like race cars. The prototypes do not, because they are Le Mans prototypes. They sound like whistles and gizmos. Not really, but hey, Personally, I like the Daytona prototypes a lot more. Thank you for cutting me out. That's a good idea. Yeah, I'm talking about stuff. It's a little bit easier to talk about things when you've got someone else to talk about them with, but it's okay. Because there aren't many people watching this race anyway. People don't really follow. It's a long whatever. Hey, we're going to be halfway. Here comes David Land to complete that halfway mark. Mosport is halfway done. First pit stops of the day, and except for Kyler Boggs, he's gotten into the wall. That's not good. As you see him, he's just trying to get into the pit lane. Mr. Cuppy 3 is already there. Where's his pit stall? Jeez, Mr. Cuppy 3 is like almost at pit exit. Kyler Boggs is not, as you can see. Hey, let's see if any of the GT field gets a pit stop in here. That is a negative. Everybody stays out. The prototypes have made it around far enough that they're coming to the ability to pit this time around as well. I'm just terrible at this. Chris Aurelio into the pits. David Land stayed out, but Chris Aurelio did not. So the Porsche team is trying different strategies here. As you see, here's Dirk Muller. He has a pretty sufficient lead over Ed Jones. And this would mean that it would be 2 races in a row that a pro driver, like a real driver, would win over the sign-up drivers. Which is not some that is inducive to people like following well, but people might say, hey, I want to win. I want to be in that white BMW that's leading the race right now. I'll sign up for it. And then they sign up, and then we have more sign-up drivers. That would be cool. So as you see, Chris Aurelio pitted, David Land, Weston Miller, and Graham Riley have yet to, as well as the entirety of the GT field. Nope, never mind. Kyle Thomas leads the Porsches in to pit. All of the Porsches. There went one of the prototype Porsches and the Toyotas, so I guess those guys stayed out. Ian Perez has the very first pit stall. Hey, good for Ian. There is Mr. Cuppy 3 making a pass on Brian. Oh, he couldn't get around him. Mr. Cuppy 3 is being held up by not lap traffic. They're actually running for position at the moment because Mr. Cuppy 3's come in and out of the pits. Where's his teammate? That's what I want to know. Where is Kyler Boggs? There he is. He's running in 12th overall at the moment. I would be surprised if by the end of this one Kyler Boggs was anywhere else because he had his trouble. David Land is getting held up and the 2 Toyotas are catching him. Kenneth Bueno is in front of this train of prototypes. We'll see if any of them dive into the pits just to get out of the way of this. That is a negative. Graham Riley passing Weston now. Was getting impatient, I guess, with his teammate. Kenneth Bueno still holding up David Land. And Graham Riley might make a pass. Nope. Nope. Dang, David. What are you doing? Oh, never mind. Race over. Lols. Oops. Might be. Once again, I've done something bad. Damn it, Joe. Okay. Whatever. Just stop filming. Okay, so I apologize for my shitty broadcasting, but it's hard sometimes, man. I don't know. David Land wins today, and Graham Riley came in second. Third place was Weston, the badass Miller. Getting fourth was Chris Aurelia. Now the two Audis, Mr. Cuppy3 and Kyler Boggs, are 5th and 6th in class, and they are within the GT field. Dirk Muller won. Ed Jones gets second. Third is Dominic Farnbacher. 5th is Matt Faust. 6th is LaFleur. 7th is Bueno. 8th is Lights. 9th is Long. 10th is Kyle Thomas. 10th is Ian Perez. Damn it. I am doing terribly. I'm going to stop filming now. This is getting ridiculous. Thanks for watching the Logitech Canadian Grand Prix here at Mousport. Next time is Lime Rock, R Factor 10-minute showdown featuring Racing Nation TV. It's going to be cool. See you then.